informant interview and focus on group discussion with military personnel, members of the civilian joint task force, and other community security actors. Former Association of Jama'at Sunan Leader Hawa Wali Jihad and of the Islamic State West Jama'at African Province, government officials and the local leader, staff of NGOs and civil society groups, and community members across the region who represent key stakeholders and have interesting vantage points on their respective countries. Counter-terrorism strategy was generally agreed that the negotiated peace and non-kinetic methods are very effective methods. Again, the success stories of the amnesty program in Nigeria is an additional testament to the effectiveness of negotiation, peace, and kinetic approach to fighting banditry. In some isolated cases, with shortfall in manpower, inadequate equipment, and insufficient financial resources. The Nigerian security architecture must innovate and combine unconventional methods, such as negotiation and dialogue, to secure the citizenry, while other again commending the efforts of the Chairman Senate Committee on the National Security and Intelligence and that of the National Security Advisor, Malamune Ribado, for laudable achievement. The Council, however, enjoins them to redouble their efforts and be much more proactive in actions, as much ground still need to be covered, and the quest for satisfactory national security is yet to be attained. Thank you very much, and thank you for your valuable questions.
Solidarity forever.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our rights. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our rights.
Isoleto, Africa, is a way to.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you once again. Our audience is appreciating for always lending your voice, the voice of your platform, to critical matter issues. At this juncture, I would like to call on one or two leaders on the table to chip in some interventions to this matter. I call on Comrade Yusuf Ibrahim. Thank you very much. This message is set to address critical issues concerning insecurity in our country, to see how we can synergize efforts together with government to bring last solution to the challenges that we have eating into the fabrics of the nation. And how can we do that? Is by collaboration, sensitization, and reaching out to those who are saddled with responsibility and those who are in other side that we are trying to bring back to the normal way of life. In doing so, we commend the efforts of the security apparatus or security architectures and that of the NSA and the House Committee on Insecurity. We believe that dialogue is the most weapon to bring sanity in any crisis and in any situation we find ourselves. So to say, the best way to solve insecurity challenges is to reach out to the actors of the game, sit them down and dialogue and forgive ourselves so that we can have a way forward. It is on this note, we call ourselves together with other NGOs in the country to make sure lasting solution can be offered to this situation that has hindered progressive development of our nation, because it is only through a good atmosphere can take place. And we know by special grace of God, this our call will give result, and at the end of the day, we will find a new God.
Thank you very, very much for the let's hear from the Director, Media and Publicity, and the President of the Multimedia Publishers Association of Nigeria, Alhaji.
Thank you very much. You know, in the past, we used to hear about insecurity and just only in the Northeast. But today, the
insecurity, nothing was there. Let us ask these questions.
Has spread to where I come from. We have so many villages, so many towns in the Northwest have been dismantled by kidnappers and bandits, and so many Nigerians have now moved from that region to a safe haven like Abuja and the rest of the country. And therefore, whatever means the government needs to deploy to mitigate the insecurity for all in the civil society is not a sign of weakness, because the non-kinetic method has been used, particularly in Kaduna State, to dismantle several terrorist networks. And therefore, when Senator Buba, the Senate Committee Chairman on Security, deployed his system in finding a lasting solution, we begin to see results. And we feel that since we complain when there are issues and when there is need to also commend personality, then we need to do that. And therefore, for us in the civil society, we use this opportunity to commend the Office of the National Security Advisor and to also commend the Senator Buba Senate Committee group. It is never a sign of weakness to deploy the non-kinetic approach in solving the insecurity. If you are in Abuja, you may not understand. If you go to the Northwest, majority of the citizens there, they are even saying, government, don't give us anything, don't give us water, don't give us electricity, don't give us roads. Just let us have security so that we can go to our farms and work and feed our families. Because the government don't even have the capacity to take care of anybody, to feed families. The government do not have the resources. And if there are other methods that can be used, which is what one of the methods is what exactly the Senator Buba committee are doing, we must commend them, and we must also urge the security, Nigerian security forces, while they are deploying the non-kinetic approach, the other action, security action is also going on simultaneously. So we commend everybody, and we will continue to watch the progress of events as it unfolds, and where there is need for the civil society to advise, because we are closer to the people. We are spread across 774 local government, and every day we receive reports. And therefore, if there is improvement, we will tell the government. And if there is no, we will also come out to say it. But for now, we must encourage the Senator Buba group. They are doing very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gentlemen of the press, aside the press test, I would just want to be very clear and truthful here. You will agree with me that for like a few times now, there have been a whole lot going on within the security architecture in Nigeria. And even of recent, I think about 2 weeks or even last week, some banditries were negotiated with and some kidnappers were released. As I'm talking to you now, I'm aware that some have been released and they are even in Abuja here receiving treatment. And there have never been any approach that is too heavy for government to use in order to save life. Because we are talking about human being here. If about 50 people were kidnapped and if the need be that you are going to use a combatant approach to go, imagine the kind of life that we waste in the process, because you can't go into the den of the banditry now with guns and everything and you expect them not to also react. So if they also react, maybe the citizens who are just a victim, they were just being kidnapped, they can also lose their life in the process of all these things. But if there are ways we can find all these people and discuss with them and see how we can be able to at least bring all these people safe, alive, it will be very nice. It's only people that lost families that can understand what I'm talking about. So that people are coming now to say, people negotiating to get kidnappers out of the dens of banditry, getting people out of their den is not good. I think it's not something we should be discussing at all in Nigeria. Whatever approach the government is going to apply to make sure that people are saved and find a way as well to see how we can be. These things are being used all over the world. Even the almighty America, they use non-kinetic approach to rescue some of their people. In fact, they will negotiate and go deep into the war zone and pick their citizens. But that's why America will tell you that the soul of just one American citizen is more precious than anything. They can do anything to get them out. And that is the reason why we must appreciate the National Security Advisor and also commend the oversight power of this, both the Senate and the House of Rep Committee, and also appreciate Mr. President. Let them try as much as possible to secure more and more of these people. And if possible, to see how we can be able to reduce insecurity in this country. A lot should be deployed, not always going to remove all these people from the kidnappers then. Let's find a way to be ahead of the game, so that at the end of the day, we can reduce kidnapping, we can reduce banditry, we can reduce insurgency. We have seen what issue of amnesty have turned Niger Delta to. Before, nobody can go to Niger Delta. In short, oil production drastically reduced. But because of amnesty, we saw it that relative peace has really gone to Niger Delta now. Production is going on. So if all these approach can also be deployed in the northeast and northwest for us to get people out of the den of this banditry, I think is a welcome development, and we should also discourage anybody that is saying otherwise. Government have responsibility to secure the citizen, and if they use both the kinetic and the non-kinetic to get the citizen out, or whichever means they want to get them out, I think they need to be applauded and they need to be appreciated. So thank you very much.
The Holy Book even says in the Holy Books, say there is time for peace, there is time for war. There is time to talk and time to remain silent. There is time to negotiate and dialogue, and there is time to fight. That goes to confirm that at times you can use kinetic, at times you can use non-kinetic. And with this we come to the end. Any question from the press?
Question.
In the absence of questions, we call it a day.
You want to talk, say something.
Any question from the member of the press? Any contribution?
Mine is not a question.
It's a contribution.
Yes, is a contribution. I'm comfortable here, Mr. Professor. You see, the challenge about this issue, of course, when you are solving a problem, there are phases to intervention of government, pragmatically. The US and some part of Europe will tell you they maintain a non-negotiation with terrorists. But you and I know that these are positions that were taken after a long series of conscientization and firming up of the security architecture to ensure that the fringes of those nations are well protected. It is then you can say, okay, I have fortified my borders, then I'm not going to negotiate with terrorists. Yeah. Now, the second part to it is that while Nigeria is still moving towards that place, negotiating realistically, discussing with people who have the lives of Nigerians, the valuable lives of Nigerians in their custody, is not out of place. I agree. But fundamentally, the most important thing is that we must take a careful travel to a place where it is now going to be addressed holistically. Let's be honest with ourselves. Okay, for example, let me give you the typical example of Fulanis in Lagos. Because people will make some allusions to some tribe. The stool of the Dan Fulani in Lagos today this year is about 110 years. By the laws of this land, they have a right to that place. So you will find out that most of the people who perpetrate these acts are people who have come into our borders illegally, uncensored. How can you imagine a Fulani man who is farming, who is going to make money at the end of that season, selling his products, to endure violence or allow somebody else from another place to come and destroy that place? Is also affected. As we speak now, the north is more affected than every part of Nigeria for this insecurity. Now comes the solution. The solution is that Nigeria has come to a place where it has become both compulsory and compulsive to have a routine engagement between government and people. If the civil society is going to be involved in this, and the government has finally seen the need of the civil society and the traditional institution, the government must institute a system that engages civil society in conjunction and collaboration with traditional institutions to endure routine engagements. Because the truth about it is that there is a proverb in Yoruba land, it is only no stranger can know the place where the elder with one eye was buried. The most a stranger will know that is that this is a cemetery, but it doesn't know specifics about the cemetery. We need to be able to engage the locals for the gathering of intelligence. There has to be a machinery midwifed and managed by the National Security Advisor with these actors I've mentioned and the leaders of stakeholders, the leaders of thoughts, the demographics within each communities of Nigeria as routine, as a system, 24 hours. People must be able to go, have a place they can report this misdemeanor to, report these security breaches to, and that place should be streamlined with the security architecture in Nigeria so that there can be an immediate action. Because the truth about it is that there is no place where people were kidnapped in this country today that other people did not see them. But the truth is that between the time those other people who saw them, who were not victims, will report to the security agency, and the response timing, it is that gap that makes it difficult to rescue them immediately. So the government by now should be working in synergy with the civil society group and traditional institutions to ensure that there is a system in place, a government-community relation network that will daily aggregate intel from people and daily escalate to the appropriate security institutions for response.
I think we'll need to have you involved in our next summit. Yes. The next summit of the Civil Society Council.
The further engagement.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we thank you once again for being here. And we hope to see you again in the next summit. Thank you.